Good afternoon. Today, we welcome Theo, a third generation San Francisco's whose life story is deeply entwined with the city he now seeks to serve as supervisor for District 10. I'm Kelly Armstrong, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about him. Theo was raised in the Bayview by a hardworking single mother. His path from adversity to advocacy began early, inspired by the community around him and driven by a determination to create a safer, fairer, and even more vibrant San Francisco. From producing documentaries featured at the San Francisco International Film Festival and the World Economic Forum to leading citywide initiatives that built 1,000 affordable homes, expanded homeless services, and created 3,000 living wage jobs. Theo's impact is felt across every corner of our city. Today, he continues his mission as executive director of the Ruth Williams Bayview Opera House, where he's leading a cultural renaissance and nurturing the next generation of local artists. As a husband, father, and lifelong Bayview resident, Theo is raising the fourth generation of San Franciscans and working to ensure this city remains a place where every family can live, work, and thrive. Woohoo! Busy, busy. I'm loving it.
Very.
Welcome, Theo.
Thank you, Kelly, so much for. I'm gonna there's $20 under your keyboard for that introduction. That was great. That was great. No, I appreciate it, and always excited to have conversations with you. I know we do that off the record, and so
Yes,
now we're doing it on the
on the
record.
record.
So,
Absolutely.
yes, I
But you
love it.
know what? None of it was made up. This is you. This is what you've done. And it is interesting when you
Absolutely.
get to hear it played back, because who thinks about that kind of stuff? So
Right.
you did this, and it just makes me so proud that I have the opportunity to get into it. So let's get into it. So Theo, your story begins right here in the Bayview. How has growing up in District 10 shaped your commitment to this community?
Yeah, I was born right on the corner of Third and Paloux. And I say it's the neighborhood that raised me. It's the
Yes.
neighborhood that gave me my grit. It's the
Okay.
neighborhood that gave me my determination. And it's the neighborhood that I know and love. And it is just entrenched in who I am. And so I wear that on my sleeve. Um, I always think about the different people, the different characters. And I also think about just how different this neighborhood is compared to the rest of San Francisco. And so I've really dedicated my life to just positioning myself to be able to affect the change that I want to see. And really, what I've dedicated my life to is building the neighborhood that I think we deserve. And so I love this place.
Yeah,
I
you
wouldn't want to
do.
live anywhere else. And I think, as you alluded to in the introduction, I made a conscious choice about 2 years ago to remain here and raise my family here. And so I think they'll be better because of it.
Oh, okay. Now, so Theo, tell us a little bit about the schools that you attended and a little bit more about this background of yours here in the Bayview.
Yeah, so I mean, born and bred to the fullest. I went to Charles R. Drew Elementary School on Pomona, and then I went to Gloria R. Davis Middle School. I had a short stint at Sacred Heart Cathedral Prep for 2 years, and then I transferred over to School of the Arts, where I focused on film and video. And so for me, I like to credit education for saving my life.
Yeah.
If you grew up in Bayview in the 90s, you remember that our neighborhood was just plagued with gun violence. And it was an aha moment for me when I walked to school from Third and Paloux up to Hunters Point. My route was plotted with balloon shrine after balloon shrine of classmates, peers, folks I grew up with in the neighborhood who fell victim to gun violence. And so I remember that walk vividly. And I knew in that moment, through that walk, that the conditions we were living in were not normal. And education was the way out from that. And so I pride myself in being able to, obviously graduate high school, School of the Arts. I went on to Notre Dame de Namur University in Belmont, And then I got my master's in urban affairs from the University of San Francisco. So doesn't get any more San Francisco than me.
Right. And I wish this interview could be like 3 hours because there's so
Yes.
there's so much depth to you. And it's interesting that you talked about the balloons because that was one of my next questions for you, where I
Hmm.
said you've spoken about walking past the balloon shrines on your way to school as a child. How did those early experiences shape the vision for a safer, stronger San Francisco? And you said it, education, just really making sure that uh, we get quality education, not just
Right.
education, but quality, right?
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And it's not, a safer San Francisco means a number of things, right? When we talk about public safety, the hot button issue now, a lot of times we talk about police response. And so, yes, we need police response, and there's a officer shortage right now in the city. So we need to backfill that and fully fund a department so that we have officers who are able to walk our corridor, who are able to be at our community meetings and be in community organizations. But we also need to fund violence prevention programs. We need to fund
Absolutely.
mental health programs. We need to fund housing programs. So when I think about public safety, it's more holistic. It's more about well-being, just as much as it's about public safety. And so education is a part of that, right?
Yeah.
We folks who are under 18 spend the majority of their time in school.
Yeah.
If you were like me growing up in the neighborhood, it was the after school program that really
Absolutely.
wrapped their arms around me. I remember going to Gloria Davis Middle School, and we would go from 7 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, and then it was the after school program that fed us dinner, gave us snacks. We got our homework done. We did the cultural enrichment, and so a lot of that moment is really what shaped me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, so you've been called a fearless leader for taking on issues like discrimination, environmental racism, and corporate accountability. Which of these battles taught you the most about your leadership, about leadership?
Yeah, yeah. So when I moved from Third and Newcomb. It was one of the homes that I grew up in, and I bought a home in the Hunters Point shipyard. And a few years later, we found out that there was some corruption within the company that was tasked with cleaning and remediating the soil around the property. And Hunters Point Shipyard has been a fixture in this neighborhood for decades. It's
Yeah,
where the
yeah.
Great Migration happened. It's where a lot of Black folks in the city were able to obtain wealth and transfer that on to generation. And so it was very disturbing to me to learn that there was some tampering with soil samples that ultimately determined if the soil was clean or not. And so I organized a couple neighbors and we filed a suit against the developer and Tetra Tech for falsifying those soil samples. And really, we stood up during a time where the main cash cow for the neighborhood was surrounded by that development. So the developer was responsible for not only building housing, but a ton of community benefit projects, education, workforce, you name it. And so when we stood up, all of that was jeopardized. And so I got a lot of flack on the short term for a lot of those programs being put on pause. In the long term, we settled with the developer, but also showed that there are people who are still here. There are
Mhm.
people who depend upon this project to succeed. There's a housing crisis in San Francisco. So I wasn't going to just sit back and allow developers, corporate polluters, et cetera, from coming into this neighborhood and doing what is not in the best interest of people who actually live and work here. And
Wow.
so it was not only bold, we took a chance. And the number of phone calls, I tell you, if I could replay the phone calls that I got during that time from folks that I'm sure both me and you know here in the community,
Okay.
um, that just expressed deep concern because we were doing something that was not popular at the time, but turned out to be what was right. And that's what I sort of lead with whatever I do. It's about doing what's right on behalf of the people who live and work in this neighborhood.
And and that's what a leader is, someone that is willing to take the risk and not be concerned about what the naysayers or anybody else is saying. It's like, look, this isn't right. We're going to fix it. And that's
Hmm.
what you did. And how long did it take? What was the time period for all of this?
Well,
Time frame.
there's two. I mean, the suit's still going on. I mean,
Oh, wow.
we are
Okay.
going back and forth with Tetra Tech, who has the big contract to ultimately clean up the shipyard, as
Okay.
well as other. I mean, it's a national company, so they clean up uh, brownfield sites, and after the fires, they get contracts to clean up
Okay.
properties across the state of California. And so, it's the typical big corporation versus a set of homeowners who want to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but we are, staying true to what we believe in. And we knew when we got into this, it was going to be a long haul and a stretch. And so we're running the bases like no other.
Oh, good, good. Well, good luck with that. And do keep me
Thank
posted.
you.
I definitely want to know, how it's moving along.
Absolutely.
So now you helped deliver over 1,000 affordable homes and expanded the Salvation Army's homeless services during the pandemic.
Yeah.
How did you navigate those complex challenges while staying focused on people first? Because
Yeah.
that's enough. So how did you do that?
Sure. I'll start with the affordable housing units. I was commissioner for the Office of Community Investment and Infrastructure here in San Francisco, and that was basically the redevelopment successor agency. So
Okay.
Governor Brown at the time uh, got rid of redevelopment and charged cities with coming up with their own strategies to uplift a successor agency. So an agency that can continue the work to build housing, to provide jobs, and to build infrastructure in communities. And so we were ultimately responsible for Transbay Terminal, Mission Bay,
Oh, wow.
Hunters Point Shipyard, carrying through, like I said, the housing, workforce development, and other programs, retail, et cetera, that were needed for those areas. And so, during my tenure there, we approved over 3,000 units of housing, a
Wow.
thousand of those affordable, about 240 plus of those for formerly homeless families. And it was really about, it meant different things in different neighborhoods. If you look at Hunters Point, it's about legacy, cultural preservation, and sort of
Okay.
and creating a path for the future. If you go to Mission Bay, heavy biotech community. UCSF is anchored there. Lots of new shops in retail. And so Mission Bay was a little bit different. We kind of had a petri dish, if you will, to create an entire new neighborhood that was, again, anchored by UCSF and other life science and biotech companies.
Oh,
And
wow.
then Transbay Terminal, the goal there was to be the Grand Central Station of the West Coast. And you see now some of the fruits of that labor. Salesforce Tower is there, the transit hub, that's Muni, AC Transit, et cetera, all San Mateo's transit agency, all sort of coming through Transbay Terminal in a real way. And so there's the transit aspect. And then there was also the housing component. So we were able to sort of shape some of that work. The goal again was to continue the work of the redevelopment agency, but do it in a thoughtful way,
Hmm.
do it in a way that was reflective of the needs of the community. And we got 1,000 affordable units out of it under my term. So
Wow.
it was very exciting.
I mean, that is amazing work. It seems like everything you put your little hands on turns to gold. He's got that Midas touch. Oh,
I'll take it.
absolutely.
I'll take it where I can.
Absolutely. So now, as the Warriors' first director of public affairs, you built one of the most powerful community collaborations in the city's history. What lessons from that experience did you bring to City Hall? But first, before we you answer that, I just want to say thank you because when I was the founder and program director over at the Bayview Y with my Primed and Prep program, you
Yes.
brought the Warriors over to our building. And it was
Yes.
interesting because I don't know anything about sports, so I didn't know any of the
Yeah.
players. And the kid was like, Miss Kelly, can I get out there? I don't. So I go to the players. I said, which one of you is whatever the name the kid said?
Right. Right.
And they looked at me like, you don't know who we are. And it was like the only one I knew
Yes.
was Steph Curry and I think
Right.
Duran, what's his name?
Kevin Durant.
Yes, it was those
Yes.
two I knew because those are the ones
Yes.
we would hear about. So
Right.
the kids were able, to get their autographs on their aprons, and we served
Right.
lunch. We were able to provide the lunches. So you did that, and I will
Hmm.
always thank you and be grateful for that because it was a great
Yes.
opportunity for the kids. And then, of course, Lionel asked me, "Why didn't you let me know that the Warriors?"
Right. Where's the volunteer opportunities? He's
Right,
ready.
right, exactly. And I'm like, I didn't think anything of it because for me, it was just like, just another event, But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
so back to the question, do I need to repeat it?
Well, no,
Did I
I think
throw
I
you
got
off?
the gist.
Okay.
No, the Warriors project was just amazing all the way through, and I always say that they didn't win a championship until I got there,
Okay.
and
That
so
Midas touch, what I tell
yes, I'll
you.
take that. I'll take that. I got the rings to prove it,
Uh-huh.
and no, just an extraordinary experience. I mean, we built that arena during a time where San Francisco needed a just some civic pride.
Yeah.
There was a lot happening in the city at the time. There was an attempt to bring the arena first to Pierce 3032, and that kind of fell through. And then
Hmm.
an opportunity opened up in Mission Bay. And
Okay.
so I was able to use some of the skills and knowledge about the neighborhood in Mission Bay from my work on OCII as a commissioner. We talked about housing earlier and the other infrastructure projects. So was directly sort of involved there. And then, really it was about connecting dots, right? The arena is a stone's throw away from the neighborhood that I was born and raised in. And it's about doing what I've always done, and that is figuring out ways to connect industry
Okay.
to better improve the outcomes for people in this neighborhood. And
Yeah.
so when you tell me the story about Primed and Prep, it is, it's about figuring out how to give folks a sense of hope. And
Yeah.
so what starts as an autograph lets them know that possibilities are limitless.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they were in
And
the same room with what they call greatness. You know what I mean? So
exactly,
that's definitely inspiring.
exactly.
Yeah, so that was awesome. So now District 10 has a proud but often underserved history from Bayview to Dogpatch. What's your vision for restoring opportunity and equity in these neighborhoods? How
Yeah.
do you plan to do that?
Yeah, I have seen this my entire life. And I think for the first time in history, Dogpatch, Potrero, Bayview, Viz Valley, all feel this sense of um, that they've been forgotten about,
Okay.
and that is what I think will unify us moving forward, and that is what I want to do as supervisors. We talk about what is needed. You look at uh, underinvested, under-resourced, underdeveloped. And it's been that way for the last 60 years. And I don't want to come back on this podcast 10 years from now talking about the things that we need to
Same
do to
thing.
change this neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And so, I always say that in simple terms, I'm running for office because we can do better,
Hmm.
and this neighborhood deserves better.
Hmm.
And so, what that looks like is first off, a vibrant Third Street. There are literally empty plots of land on this corridor. I call it a supervisor's dream because in an area that needs housing, we have the opportunity to build more here and solve the city's homeless or help aid the homelessness and housing crisis. If you
Wow.
look at our waterfront,
Hmm.
we have 20,000 new units of housing in the pipeline that will ultimately bring more jobs, that will ultimately bring more resources by way of retail. And we've longed for this for so long. And it's really about, again, having that vision and having that know-how to be able to mend not only the sentiments across neighborhood, but move some of these important projects forward.
Yeah.
And so the housing piece has a pretty straightforward opportunity. The other half of that is the jobs piece, and we have historically been a neighborhood that is working class. We are a diverse neighborhood, and my vision is to continue that and be more aggressive with finding opportunities to bring jobs to this side of town. And we have the space.
Yeah.
If you look at our industrial areas, both on the east, the north, or excuse me, the east and west side of Third Street, we have a prime opportunity there to bring back modern day manufacturing jobs and industry jobs to this neighborhood.
Mhm.
We are geographically positioned to do it. A stone's throw away from Mission Bay that I talked about earlier, that has a burgeoning life science and biotech cluster. Downtown, we're stone's throw away from downtown. If you go south, we're close to the peninsula in Silicon Valley. So I'm really looking at Bayview, Hunters Point, and District 10 as a regional neighborhood. And so we have to rebuild our industrial space so that we can attract 20,000 new jobs.
Yeah.
The last time this neighborhood was economically viable is when we had 30,000 jobs in the Hunters Point shipyard.
Wow.
We were able to buy homes. We were able to pass down wealth from generation to generation. And so we have to bring that back. There's no way that this neighborhood survives unless we have an economic base and an economic engine to help people thrive. And so we do that by way of jobs. The last thing I'll say is transportation.
Mm.
We have been isolated for too long. We have been disconnected from the city and from the region. And so while we have a light rail that is robust and that lays a great framework, we need to think about other ways that transportation can connect us regionally to South Bay, again, to Silicon Valley, and then also to the rest of the city. And so when I think about transit, I think about water service. I think about a Caltrain station. I think about reinvigorating the T train so that, again, people are able to live where they work. And if they're not able to work where they live, they have adequate means to get from place to
Transportation. Yeah,
place. Uh,
absolutely.
and, and we're situated to do that. And so for those reasons, I'm hopeful. We talk about all of the things that have happened to this neighborhood. And now we have an opportunity to reverse some of those social ills with this next election.
See, like I said, there's so much to you. You were just full of so much. I just want to just grab you and just say, I call you my little Obama. I say, this is my neck, my
Yes,
little
I'll take
Obama.
it.
Now,
Thank
so
you.
now listen to this because I know now that you are also the executive director over at the Bayview Opera House, and I've actually done work over there.
Yes.
I used to teach self-esteem programs to the youth and
Nice.
also help them with the movie theater, start the movie theater.
Yeah,
You have done some amazing work over there. So talk to me about, how you are supporting local businesses, artists, and young people. And, because it's the lifeblood of our community. And so
absolutely.
what are you doing at the Bayview that's constantly making this happen?
Yeah, well, we are leading what I call the cultural renaissance in Bayview Hunters Point, right here at the Ruth Williams Bayview Opera House. And we're returning to we're returning to our roots.
Okay.
This is San Francisco's oldest theater, 1888.
Wow.
And we are pivoting from a traditional community center to a full-on performing arts venue. And the basis for that is that you should not have to leave your neighborhood for quality entertainment. You look
Okay.
at the Castro and what that Castro Theater means to that neighborhood.
Hmm.
You look at the Fillmore and what that venue means to that neighborhood. You look at the Independent and what that means to the Divisadero corridor. We want to be that for Bayview. And
Okay.
so when we bring concerts, family shows, productions, it's about getting people in this space. It's about activating the businesses along the corridor. But ultimately, it's about showing people in this neighborhood what is possible when the necessary investments are made and we lead with intention. And we've been able to do that over the past 3 years since I've sort of taken the helm here.
Okay.
We have a couple of marquee programs that I love. We have SF Sounds, which is sort of a Tiny Desk meets silent disco experience where,
Okay. Oh,
um, yeah, we break down the sort of intimidation of a large theater and we bring the show to the middle of the floor. And
okay.
so when you walk in, you see this, um, you see, a 4, 5, 6 piece band in the middle of the floor, but you can't hear anything until you put on the headphones.
Ah,
Once
good.
you put on the headphones, it is a live mix of the actual music playing. And so it feels like a studio recording session.
Oh, how
And so we
wonderful.
highlight, yeah, we highlight black and brown artists from across the Bay Area. And we bring that quality show here to Bayview. We also do on the backside of that, um, all of our front of house, back of house, event management staff, from lights to sound to our theater technicians, all are going through a training program where we train folks on, again, event management and all of the different
How
trades involved with
wonderful is
putting
that?
on events.
I'm
And
gonna have to
so
get over there. This is
you got to come
awesome.
back, come on over. And so
I am.
you
This is
know,
awesome.
as San Francisco holds these large scale events, Portola Fest, outside lands, we have the night markets and the street concerts that are happening now. We want to be that hub to say people who live here, people who are from here should have the opportunities to be working those jobs, and we shouldn't be importing people from other cities. And so, as goes Bayview, as goes the rest of the city, we are breeding talent, and it's happening under a roof that has so much rich history.
Yeah.
And the cultural preservation here is paramount to the future of this neighborhood. And so we're leading that work here. And it's really showing again folks who live here and folks who are from across the city just what's possible.
Now, so tell me this, with all the productions and stuff, you do programs for children too, right? Do
We
you
do, we
do you
do.
okay.
We have partnerships that we SF Jazz, SF Symphony, the opera even.
Okay.
And so we utilize our space and activate our space for families,
Okay.
um, more so on more so on the as it relates to performing arts, where people can come and have an experience.
Sure.
We have an annual Winter Wonderland celebration. This year, we're expecting about 3,000 or so folks to come and enjoy the arts. We partner with African American Shakespeare Company,
Oh, I was
who
going to ask you
did,
that. Awesome. Miss
yes,
Sherry, that
yes,
is awesome.
yes. And so they did
Okay.
a production here a couple months ago,
That's
and that's going
beautiful.
to become an annual thing. And so it's about, again, showing people what is possible, reimagining this space and this community, all under the lens of art and culture.
Oh my goodness, this is, you got my heart just pounding. Yes, I'm loving it. So, Mateo, as I listen to you, I'm like, you know what? He's been mentored by somebody. Who has mentored you?
I've been fortunate enough to we grew up in a my grandfather moved here from the South. He bought a house and put his three daughters in a house. And I grew up with there's about 10 of us in the household. And
Okay.
so I was basically probably the third youngest. And so I have a lot of cousins that I look up to who were father figures.
Okay.
My grandfather, Clifton Weeks, who is sort of the patriarch of the family, instilled a lot of values in me. And so like I said, I am as homegrown as they come. And I like to say that, they made all the mistakes so that I can thrive.
Okay.
And so just from a personal perspective of how I show up, I really credit my family for being that anchor. And sometimes you don't know it at the time, right? When I'm in it, growing up, I don't know it at the time, but all different types of personalities that you got to deal with,
Yes.
being able to walk in any room and be confident. Just those small things that work ethic, um, ability to get things done, ability to be resourceful, all comes from 10 of us sort of, figuring it out, being thrown outside at 9 in the morning and saying, be inside before the street lights come on,
Okay.
right? There's a little bit of, there's a little bit of, you get a little bit of everything from that experience. So I credit my family for uplifting me.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. And when you talk about be back in before the street lights come on, I mean, we need that back. We need
Yes,
to have some
absolutely.
more of that. Kids need to really see what that feels like because it's a wonderful thing. It's very
Oh
nurturing,
yeah.
believe it or not. And at the time, we didn't think that, but
No.
knowing that that's what it is. So speaking of family, so you're raising your family in the same community that you grew up in. What kind of San Francisco do you want them to inherit? What are you looking
Yeah.
for them?
I'm raising three boys in this city. I was joking last night that I am single-handedly repopulating the black population here in the city, but it's funny, but it's not funny. It's one of those things where,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so I have Lennox, who is 7, Maxwell Hendricks, who are 3, and then my wife Saray, who is sort of the backbone and helps pull us all together.
Absolutely.
And so I want San Francisco to be a place for families. I
Yeah.
want to be able to have a park within walking distance, a quality park within walking distance. I want to be able to um, sort of move and migrate from neighborhood to neighborhood with ease. I want them to see people who look like them.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to experience other cultures. One of my, I think, greatest memories is growing up in Bayview, going to Charles Drew Elementary School, and literally celebrating every single holiday
Yeah.
and being in community, celebrating culture is something that has made me a better person. Has made me will make me a good legislator. Would make me a good um, in the artist work that I do.
Yeah.
And so I want them to grow up in a place where they can thrive. I want them to grow up in a place where they feel safe. And I want them to grow up in a place where they feel acknowledged.
Oh,
And
that's
so
beautiful.
while we have made tremendous progress, there's still so much more work to do.
So
And
much.
some of my proudest accomplishments is what we've done here at the Opera House. And so my children get a front row seat into me building culture that I want them to see and be a part of. So they get to see the family shows. They get to see Black artists on stage. They get to see excellence and experience joy. And so I want that for all families in San Francisco.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So now, from your student filmmaker to city leader, your journey, of course, is extraordinary. How do you stay grounded? What do you do?
Yeah. That's a good question. I mean, even through this process now, I've been kind of on the go, and try to find things that, um, keep me, like you said, keep me grounded. I think spending time with the three boys. If I'm not grounded, they will force me to be
Oh,
grounded.
absolutely. I can see them jumping on your back, pulling your leg.
Exactly, exactly, and
Let's
that's
go
what makes it.
outside. Oh, yeah.
Yes, and that's what makes it worth it, right? When I get
Yeah.
home,
Yeah.
I'm not, executive director of the Opera House, or I'm not policy director of Brownstein. I'm not, city commissioner. I'm not candidate. I am dad,
Hmm.
and so they keep me humble. They keep me grounded, and so I enjoy spending time with them, taking them around the neighborhood. So they'll get on their scooters, and I kind of let them ride freely. And so we walk the neighborhood. We
Hmm.
go explore other neighborhoods. One of the things that we're going to start to do is we're going to hit every park in the district. And
Okay.
so as my 7-year-old um, starting to understand what I'm doing and
Okay.
what this supervisor race means and what the opera house means, giving him some control over that of saying,
Nice.
what do you want to see at the opera house? What do you want to go do? So he came up with this idea of visiting every park. So he's starting to get the neighborhoods down. He's like, "Oh, weren't we just in Viz Valley yesterday? Why are we here again today?" Or
Okay.
can't we go to
Wow.
Dog Patch to the park? And so he's
Wow.
picking it up.
Nice.
And so now I'm letting him sort of be the tour guide, if you will, in our own neighborhood. And so yeah, spending time with them keeps me grounded because it is just a dose of reality that and a reminder really of who we are doing this for. And that's, so they can thrive.
Wow. So, Theo, as we start wrapping up, how can listeners get involved and help move your San Francisco towards a better place together? How can
Yeah.
they help you? What can they do
Yeah,
to help
so
you?
there's a number of things that folks can do to stay involved. If we're talking about the arts, getting involved with the Ruth Williams Opera House, attending events, just enjoying the programming that we put on. We're getting ready to open up some volunteer opportunities, but that's rwoh.org, ruthwilliamsoperahouse.org, and see the plethora of events that we have planned. And it's really about showing up and being present. A lot of what we're doing is now attracting folks from all across San Francisco and all across the Bay Area. And
Beautiful.
so our focus is obviously this neighborhood, and our emphasis is on this neighborhood. So I want to be able to make sure we create those opportunities for people who live, work, and care about this neighborhood. On the campaign side, TheoEllington.com lays out a little bit more information about who I am, some of the policies that we're working on, and it allows you to sign up for volunteer opportunities, whether that's hosting an event, hanging a window sign, donating, all those opportunities are there. What we're getting ready to work through now is various policy platforms and digging a little bit deeper. So if you're passionate about housing, we want to hear from you. If you're passionate about education, we want to hear from you. If you've got public safety strategies, we want to hear that as well. And we're creating opportunities and platforms for people to get involved. So it's a movement. It's a
Wow.
political movement. It's an art and culture movement, and it's a movement to reclaim the soul of San Francisco.
Wow, definitely needed. And I am so excited about the work that you're doing. I'm trying to get my gallery where we're back together again.
Yes.
We're back together again. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, so say the Ruth, the
Ruth
Bayviews
Williams, Bayview Opera House.
that
And
I
so we're in
want
it.
you to
We're
give their
RW, the website.
yes.
Got it. RWOH.org. If you remember Bayview Opera House, you can do it BVOH.org. We're in the midst of a name transition, but both of those websites are up and running and give full details of what we have planned for the rest of the year.
And then the Theo Ellington, give that one again for me.
TheoEllington.com. So my first name, my last name,
Okay.
.com. And that gives more information about who I am, the campaign, how folks can get involved. And then it has an emphasis on some of the policy platforms that I want to be introducing over the next couple of months.
Theo, thank you so much for doing this with me. I have so enjoyed you.
Yes, this is wonderful. Thank you for
I
creating
have
an
enjoyed you.
opportunity and for chasing me down. I know it took us a minute to get here.
Oh yeah. Oh, but yeah. But you know what? I'm persistent. When I want something, I know
Yes,
how to get it. So
yes.
Theo, your story is proof that leadership rooted in experience, empathy, and action can only change lives. From housing to the arts, public safety to community revitalization, you've shown what's possible when someone fights for San Francisco, not just in it. To our listeners, remember, real change begins in our neighborhood, and our conversations can spark that change. Until next time, this is Kelly with Straight Talking with Kelly, where real conversations happen. Hit that subscribe button and please continue to come back. All right, Theo, I'll see you. I'm actually coming over to the Bayview. I'm going to see you over there.
Oh, nice.